Every language you speak was an accident. No one designed English, no one designed Mandarin. They just happened slowly over centuries, shaped by migration and trade and conquest and the ordinary drift of people talking to each other. Every natural language on earth is an accident of history. But some people look at those accidents and thought we can do better. We can design a language on purpose. So in 1887, an ophthalmologist named Ludwig Zamenhof, living in Bialystok, this is a city where Poles and Russians and Germans and Yiddish speakers all lived side by side, but mostly couldn't understand each other. He published a language called Esperanto. His idea was simple. If everyone spoke the same constructed language, the misunderstandings that led to conflict would disappear. Esperanto was designed for peace. It didn't work. Not because the grammar was bad, the grammar was elegant, but it didn't work because you can't get 7 billion people to abandon the language they grew up speaking, the language that carries their jokes, prayers, insults, love. Humans don't switch languages for ideological reasons. They switch them when there's economic or social pressure. And Esperanto had neither. In 1955, a sociologist named James Cook Brown created a language called Loglan, later forked into Lojban. His goal wasn't peace, it was logic. Lojban's grammar is unambiguous. It forces you to mark evidentiality, to declare whether you know something because you saw it, inferred it, or heard it from someone else. Lojban was designed to make logical thinking the path of least resistance. It didn't work either. Humans don't think logically, even when you hand them logical grammar. We think in stories, in hunches, in feelings we can't quite name. Lojban has a few thousand enthusiasts. 7 billion people kept thinking the way they always had. So, yeah. In 2004, John Kijada published Ithkuil, where Esperanto aimed for simplicity and Lojban aimed for logic. Ithkuil aimed for density. It was designed to pack the maximum cognitive nuance into minimum space. Ithkuil has 96 grammatical cases and a morphology so dense that a single word can carry what takes English an entire sentence. Nobody speaks Ithkuil. Almost nobody can. The human brain can process that density in real-time conversation. So Ithkuil is an intellectual triumph and a practical impossibility. So we have 3 languages, 3 brilliant designers, 3 failures. And underneath all 3, the same reason. Humans resist being reshaped by language. Our neural pathways are already formed. Our cultural embedding runs deep. Our embodied cognition, the fact that we think with bodies that move through physical space, creates resistance to any notation that tries to rewrite how we process the world. There is good evidence that language does shape thought. Lera Boroditsky at UC San Diego showed that Russian speakers who have separate mandatory words for light blue and dark blue are actually faster at telling those 2 blues apart, but only when there is light and the other is dark. Right at the boundary, their language draws. Speakers of Gugu Imithir, this is an Aboriginal Australian language, use cardinal directions instead of left and right. And they maintain an internal compass that most English speakers never develop. Language creates grooves in cognition, default pathways that thought follows more easily. But these grooves are formed early, and they're formed deep. You can nudge them, you can't replace them, not in adults and not at scale. So that's why every constructed language failed, not because the idea was wrong, because the target audience was wrong. Now, here's where the story turns. Large language models don't have neural pathways already formed. They don't have cultural embedding, they don't have embodied cognition, and they don't have a mother tongue. They process whatever notation fills their context window, and they process it without resistance. No adoption curve, no switching cost, no attachment to the language they grew up with because they didn't grow up. So, for the first time in over 100 years of trying, there are thinkers that are completely pliable. If a notation creates better cognitive conditions, the benefit is immediate. And the early evidence suggests it works. When you give structured notation to AI systems instead of unstructured prose, comprehension goes to 90% with zero training. I know because I tested that. Budget tier models gain 22 percentage points of accuracy. Every cognitive test passes. The hypothesis was right for 80 years. Language does shape thought. Constructed languages can engineer cognition. Zamenhof, Brown, Kijada, they all were onto something real. They just aimed it at the wrong species.